Hey guys, Dr. Mike Deuce, MTFU Longevity over 50, www.mtfucoach.com. How are you today? Hey, listen, let's talk a little bit about stimulants in exercise, in fitness, in bodybuilding, in athletics. They are more proliferative and more profound, sometimes even more so than PEDs or anabolic steroids or growth hormones or SARMs or peptides or anything like that. Hey, look, I will say this. Currently, my stimulant of choice is a cup and a half of real strong black coffee every single morning. That's all I need. You hear a lot about these pre-workout drinks, and sometimes I'm asked about them. I've got to admit, I don't know a lot about them because my pre-workout drink is right here, my brain. I want to go work out. I love to work out. I push myself hard. Pre-workout drinks certainly seem to be really big among high school kids and younger kids and college athletes. And listen, if you're at that age and you need a push to go work out, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe go back to your computer or something. I mean, again, I don't know a lot about those, but if you need that type of boost to work out, there's probably something wrong as far as what your why might be. I want to talk about something called ephedrine, which admittedly was my stimulant of choice back in the 1980s when you could get something called dimetrodine. It was a bottle of, I think, 50 tablets of ephedrine. It had the ephedrine product in it. I've got to tell you, I would take, by the end of the day, I would take a whole bottle every day. And believe me, I don't know how I didn't either stroke out or have a heart attack or have my heart explode or throw a clot or die. I must have a real strong physical disposition. I don't know. Is it something I would do today? Never, ever, ever. But look, you can take yourself every 5 years and look back 5 years and say, hey, I'm a totally different person than 5 years ago. I'm talking 20, 25 years ago. My mindset was totally different. I was a totally different person. And that's what I did. That's what we did. Now, understand, this is not an excuse, but I would go through, I was a full-time student, very, very difficult course load. I'd always have like 20 credits. I worked 1 to 2 full-time jobs. One of them was at night, so I wouldn't sleep every other night. And I was always training and always competing. And understand, this stuff would work. I mean, it would keep you awake. It would it opens up the bronchodilates the vessels, so you can get more oxygen through. It speeds up the heart. It increases thermogenesis. It increases bodily heat. It's proven as a fat burner, which most of the stuff on the market now is bullshit. They're not fat burners. They say they are, but this would literally help break down the fat. So the stuff was gold. Everybody loved it. And of course, in 2004, they took it off the market because it was found that you could remove a hydroxyl group from the ephedrine, and you could manufacture methamphetamines, crystal meth, and that's people were buying it en masse. So I think that's one of the primary reasons why they took it off the market. How this stuff works, think in terms of your central nervous system, think in terms of your brain. And this is how I would explain it to chiropractic patients years ago. Let's say they had pain going down their leg. I would say, look, there's a nerve, and I keep it real basic. There's a nerve going from down your back, down your leg, and you've got pain being delivered to your foot. Think of it in terms of that nerve being a garden hose, and somewhere along the line you're crimping the garden hose off, or you're putting pressure on it, and because of that, you're interrupting the flow of water, which in this case would be a nerve impulse, and you'd either get pain, numbness, weakness, dysfunction. It's the same thing with the central nervous system, and when you take the ephedrine or any similar type of stimulant, the adrenal glands produce epinephrine and norepinephrine. And this is really good at first because this cranks you up. This gets that effect that you're trying, that speeding effect that you're looking for. The problem is your body attenuates. What do? We take too much, and we take it every day, and we don't stop. The body attenuates. The body gets used to this, and it no longer responds. And then you start getting that, which I used to get, that feeling of being burnt out, and no energy. I mean, you're still eating well, you're still working out hard. It doesn't matter because your body is rejecting what you're taking, and the adrenal glands in turn stop producing the epi and norepi, and it starts to produce that nasty hormone called cortisol. And we don't like cortisol, especially when we're trying to build our bodies, because it does a few things that we don't like, which is not good. It's a catabolic where it breaks muscle down. And no wonder I always competed at 6 feet tall, 180, 185 pounds. It all makes sense now. Because now I easily carry around 195 and in pretty darn good shape because I do things much differently. But back then you could actually compete in a show and win it occasionally if you looked like a coat hanger with hair, which is maybe how I looked. I don't know. But going back to that, so the body produces the cortisol. It eats the muscle. It lends a deposition of fat around the waistline, and it also screws up your immune system. So really, you know, along with the ephedrine and some of the other things. I mean, listen, you've got to understand in bodybuilding, in fitness, in any of the related endeavors that are offshoots of those two things. Not only anabolic steroids, but almost as big of a problem or as big of a tool used by many of the participants are opioids, are narcotics, are painkillers. I mean, it's big time. You got to understand something. Anabolic steroids, whether they're good or whether they're bad, I'm not here to consign my opinion on any of that, but I will tell you this. They're not going to kill you that day when you take them. That's not how they work for the most part. It could take a long time. It could take years. It may not. Nothing may happen to you. But I will tell you this: if you're messing around, you take an overdose of some type of speeding drug, ephedrine, or whatever else you might have. You know, cocaine. There's some people who literally snort coke in order to get caught. Or you're messing around with diuretics, and that could be very bad news for the heart. Remember, ephedrine affects the beta-1 receptors on the arch of the aorta. Bad news for the heart right there. But those things will kill you right there. In ordinary, many times when you hear about a death in bodybuilding or physique, a lot of that stuff is usually involved. So what do I suggest? I suggest parsimony. I'm not saying do this. I'm not saying do that. This is not advice. I just put information out. That's it. But use these things sparingly, once in a while, and then get off for a while and let your body have a rest, so it doesn't get burned out and you don't get that so-called adrenal fatigue. Because boy, have I had it, and I remember what it feels like, and your body just stops responding to almost everything, and you can do some long-term damage. So be very careful with what you do. Know why you do what you do. Don't get that far out of shape. I mean, we used to always get bulk up. We used to bulk up, and then we'd have to cut down, and we'd end up with the same amount of muscle, and we would use these different substances in order to lose weight quick, and that's insanity. So, you know, practice parsimony, be consistent. Consistency over time will give you success, and that's all I have to say about that. Dr. Mike Dusa, MTFU Longevity Over 50, www.mtfucoach.com. Please do subscribe to my YouTube channel at MTFU Longevity Over 50. For all new fitness tips and videos each day. And as always, your thoughts, questions, considerations, you can put them below. They are my oxygen. You have a great day.